where the Hamas has officially announced its intentions to dispatch a delegation to Cairo in a bid to advance mediated negotiations. Now, leading the delegation will be Khalil Al-Hayya, a prominent figure within the group. Now, the statement released by Hamas reiterates the organization's positive stance towards the proposed negotiations. Meanwhile, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre has conveyed Washington's apprehensions to Israel regarding a potential major military operation in the southern city of Rafah in Gaza. She's also emphasized the importance of safeguarding the lives of civilians, particularly the 1.5 million individuals residing in Rafah. Joining us on the broadcast this morning is Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, International Affairs expert. Sir, good morning. Thank you for joining us on NewsX. What do you make of Hamas's move to now send a delegation to Cairo, as well as Israel's repeated assertions to escalate the offensive?
Well, I think, Pia, first of all, a very good morning to you. Good morning to all the viewers. This kind of constructive developments are welcome when such initiatives are being taken to have a ceasefire and a kind of a deal where in Hamas's captivity there are a lot of hostages are still there, while for Israel there was going on against terrorism. So, but the kind of humanitarian crisis which is prevailing still in Gaza, that is a matter of very serious concern. Entire international community is worried, and obviously in such a scenario, if any such initiatives are taken to have a kind of a deal to ceasefire, I think this is a welcome step. But only thing is that how genuine Hamas is with regard to their such moves. Because Israel obviously will have a lot of apprehensions because the kind of nature of this organization is it's obviously a terrorist organization, and to have a deal with a terrorist organization will require a lot of scrutiny, a lot of kind of security guarantees Israel will have to take, and all those apprehensions and concerns of Israel will have to be addressed. And one thing is quite certain, let me say here, that as far as Israel's resolve to defeat Hamas is concerned, that will remain. I do not think that Israel is going to be seeing Hamas's rule in Gaza still after this war. And that rule is still there. So till the time that Hamas's rule in Gaza gets over, I do not think that this war is going to be over. There could be a ceasefire for some time, and in that process, hostages will be released in reciprocity. So, but the overall situation is that Israel concerns and their apprehension and their security guarantees will also have to be addressed while the sides are moving towards having a ceasefire to address the humanitarian crisis. So I think this entire situation is quite complex. But let's see what happens from here on. But one thing at the last I would say that the humanitarian crisis must be addressed at the same time when Israel is fighting this war against terrorism. So both imperatives are very much there. But let's see what kind of moves are taken from Israel's side after the Hamas's intention is talks with regard to the ceasefire.
Indeed, you've mentioned the situation is very complex. Now, the United States is backing Israel as far as military aid and funding is concerned. But on the other hand as well, they have also, in fact, after a long period of time and after a lot of international pressure, agreed and are now prompting Israel to agree to a ceasefire as well. So what do you make of the US's stance with regards to these matters?
I think United States of America, which is in an election year, and I think there's a lot of pressure from the domestic constituency of the United States of America on President Biden. So I think those considerations are also there because earlier these political considerations were not there. But the sooner when the elections are coming nearer, I think there is some political considerations as well in the U.S. Decisions with regard to Gaza situation. And the United States of America has been of the view that though Israel must win this war against terrorism, must win war against Hamas, but at the same time, humanitarian crisis cannot be ignored. Because there cannot be any collateral damages from here on, because already about 34,000 people, more than 34,000 people have lost their lives. A lot of people are internally displaced. In Rafah in particular, the United States of America is insisting upon that Israel must not launch any large-scale offensive, because at this point of time, Pia, if you look at the situation in Rafah, there are about 1.5 million refugees are still taking shelter, and if any large-scale offensive is carried out by Israeli defense forces there will be a serious humanitarian crisis. And that will be, unacceptable. And Israel will face the threat of isolation as well. So I think Israel will have to be cautious, and that's what United States of America is saying, that with regard to their operation in Rafah, I think they should not go for any large-scale offensive. If they have to carry out some operation, should be carried out in a surgical strike way, based on hard intelligence, based on intensity warfare, etc. So I think all those strategies must be implemented. But a large-scale offensive in a major way, I think it will not be a good idea at all. And that's what the United States of America is saying to Israel.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.